Hakam, so nice to see you, man. Tell us a little bit about who you are and how you landed on X.
Nice to meet you, Nick. Nice to meet you. So I've been building on X for around 8 months now. I've managed to build an audience of around 2K, made over 10K online so far. I
Nice.
started by selling my copywriting services, but then people started asking me about my writing and how do I post and etc. So I decided to switch my offer and teach people how to write. So that's the original story. One great advice or one great problem I notice many new creators make is not finding their offer, let's say that, and not building the correct connections. Because what makes X different from other platforms is the way the algorithm works. I'm not going to really dive into it because it's a very long concept.
Before we maybe go in a little bit deeper, I want to ask you, like, is that the first platform you're on, or did you try Instagram or TikTok or something else?
X actually is my first one. I haven't tapped into any other platforms yet. So.
And why did you want to try on X?
To be honest with you, I didn't try. It was a coincidence. There is this guy which I personally love. His name is Tyler Simmons, and I saw one of his posts. It was a thread that he made about his story, and it just inspired me to begin my journey and start writing on X. I had no clue what to do, to be honest with you. I just started posting and that's it. And as time, went by, I began to figure things out and see, what works and what doesn't and what needs improvement.
And let's go back to those beginning days. I saw your Twitter accounts from like March last year, March 2023. You've been at it now for 8 years. Tell us literally what was day one like. You read that thread, and maybe the same day or a couple of days later you decided, okay, let's go. How did that look?
Yeah, so I was browsing Twitter and I saw this thread, and I really enjoyed the writing in itself. And I wasn't a person who reads a lot. I'm just gonna put this out there. And the way Thailand, managed to hook me until the end and then convince me to start my journey as well, it inspired me to do the same. I personally always wanted to, help others and, put my message out there. And I saw this as the perfect opportunity to start, especially with all the, branding and stuff. Just starting out, because before Thailand was only like Danko and the other group, the big guys.
And so you got inspired by his thread, and you started writing. But like, what about what topics, and how did you get your first followers? Run us through that.
I began by talking about copywriting tips, speaking about my experiences learning copywriting. And then once I actually started learning clients, because once you start writing, people get interested. I started talking about my experiences and how I achieved what I have achieved, which surprisingly inspired more people. Like I started gaining more followers, let's say, because people saw that there is hope here. I'm not like someone who just posts random stuff just to entertain you for a bit. And that's it. No, I have a mission here.
You said you weren't really such a reader or writer, but what is your background? Like, did you study literature, or what did you study, or how did you,
I actually studied computer science. I worked for 3 years, and then I decided to switch paths because it's not for me really. I really loved marketing. Like ever since I was young, I was always curious about, why do people take actions, what influences them to take actions and stuff. And this was like the moment to jump in and, seize it and finally pursue something I really love.
Nice. And so it was immediately like bang on the copy, because you still write about copywriting. Immediately you thought, this is for me, I want to go for this, not change anything, I'm going to stick to this.
So to be honest with you, it's been a long ride. I've been in I had many ups and downs, and to say that I always wanted to do this, I'd be lying to you. There were times where I thought about, changing niches, switching topics and stuff, talk about other things that interest me, like crypto. But I learned something from my journey, which is not to die, let's call it. You have to stay consistent. You cannot switch niches every now and then, because every time you do that, you tap into a new territory and then you restart. So there is no point in doing that. Just believe in yourself, become the best at what you do, and genuinely love what you do. Like, you should be dreaming about it, if I want to put it that way. And just continue, and eventually you're gonna make it. It's gonna be worth it, because if you love what you do, like they say, you'll never work a day in your life. And it's true.
And so if we go back like to the early days, because like Twitter, there's not really a discoverability algorithm on Twitter. Right? You need followers, they need to engage with your content, and then more people will see it. Like, how were those beginning days for you when you had like literally 0 followers? What were like the first steps you took?
So writing alone will only get you so far. Let's just put it that way. You need to network a lot on X, and coming from someone who never really networked before, I don't want to say it like this, but someone who doesn't engage a lot with other people, it was a very difficult thing to overcome. I realized that there is no other way to grow on X specifically without networking with other people.
How did you select people to follow and to engage with? How did that go?
I began by finding people who shared similar content like I did, like similar topics about copywriting, about marketing. I thought it would be a great idea to, comment under each other's posts and help each other grow. This worked until people started quitting, unfortunately. So I had to redo this cycle again, but this time find people who are, let's say, have been in the game for long and have proved their consistency. Because I didn't want to like build a connection with someone who's going to end up quitting or leaving after a week or 2 or a month. The investment did not make any sense. So I started reaching out to people, let's say, with over 1K followers, 2K. Yes, it took longer to connect with them because it was a smaller account, but the end result was worth it. Like, the effort was worth it.
And so is it also, you see something as a transactional relationship where it's like, it's obvious, like you reach out to somebody, also because you think, hey, you talk about the same thing. There's more than just, hey, give me engagement. But is that also in the back of your mind that you're trying to create connections because that's what the algo wants? They want engagement on your post. They want likes and reposts. And is that something? How did you?
Yeah. So when you start, I would be lying to you if I said that was not the intention. But this intention develops into something bigger after a while, because you talk to this person a lot, and then you start hopping on calls and stuff, and you become friends. But everyone here is here to build something, and if we were to hide, our intentions and say that we connect just to become friends and stuff, then we would be lying to ourselves. So let's just be open about it. Let's help each other grow. I need you, and you need me. So why not just talk to each other and build this connection?
It's and
you'd be surprised by how many people open up to this, because it's the reality. That's what we want.
I think it's a great insight as well, that I'm here for a reason, you're here for a reason. We both know that. Why don't we help each other grow? You don't have to be, you don't have to hide that. It's like obvious that you don't spend your time on Twitter for nothing. Like, some people, they just consume, but if you find people with a similar mindset, then it's a pretty logical thing to just say, hey, I want to grow, you want to grow, how can we help each other? And hey, we probably will get befriend each other along the way. That's great.
Absolutely. But you don't have to be direct about it, because people already know as soon as you message them. So the only thing I would recommend is that you go all in with energy and Be nice. Don't be dull. It's no one likes to be friends with a boring person.
What
Yeah,
are some of the ways that you were not a boring person to somebody else?
I'm not sure about that. I got rejected a lot. But it's fine. So I wouldn't ask too many close-ended questions. Sorry, I wouldn't be too personal. I would just start with energy. Hey man, what's up? I really like your post. For how long have you been building, etc. Many of them rejected me, but on the other hand, my mind was not occupied with that. My mind was occupied with making as many connections as I can. Like if someone rejected me, then it's okay. It's not the end of the world. I can just contact another person, and it worked out.
You said you already also made quite a bit of money. I think a lot of people, when they start out on Twitter, they think, well, in 30 days, I'll have 1,000 followers and I can start selling my courses and I'll be a millionaire next week. How did you start building your income?
So the first thing I did was again talk about my copywriting and stuff. People started tuning in, prospects who needed like help with their copywriting, etc. I helped those people. When I started talking about me helping those people, people were like interested. How are you writing like this? How do you write long form? How do you write emails, etc. So what I did is I made an offer to teach people how to write for impact. And the first client I ever landed, which is crazy, he paid me like $13.50. I never really imagined making that much money from writing, which is crazy.
Nice.
And the only times I made like these switches between the offers were the times where other people were interested in what I was doing. So like now, recently, I've switched to helping people land clients on X because I've been doing it for a while now and people are interested. So why not make the switch?
People started reaching out to you. They said, hey, I like your copywriting. Could you help me? And so it was mostly like you got inbound leads because of your writing.
And
Okay.
because my friends also helped me with my content. Remember, when you have friends to support you, it does not really matter how bad your writing is at the beginning because it's gonna pop off anyway. That's how the algorithm works. But as soon as you get better and improve, then yes, it's gonna start generating more inbound leads for you. I mean the content. There's that.
Interesting. Final question, Hakam. What's your advice to new creators on X?
Don't obsess too much over the impressions. Impressions can be deceiving. The only way to know if you are writing good content is by how you feel about it. Because if you're inspired to show up every day and put your thoughts out there, then you're gonna improve regardless of your current situation. And long enough or soon enough, you're gonna realize that it was worth it. Sticking to the game and showing every single day, because that's what matters really. No one built. Rome wasn't built in a day. It took decades. So keep showing up, make connections. Don't worry much about the impressions. And one really important advice is teach people. Don't get swayed by other topics that you're not interested in or your business is not related to. Like you see these accounts who ask random questions like, "How was yesterday?" or I don't know, "What do you think of that topic?" etc. These are like engagement farming posts, and they don't do you anything but ruin your engagement because they're gonna start attracting the wrong crowd. And this all relates to your positioning. Your content is the most important component in your positioning, because if you only speak about your business and how you write, or I don't know what your niche is, you're gonna attract the right crowd. But if you start speaking about other topics that you can't monetize, then you're gonna start attracting the wrong crowd, which is not gonna buy from you, and it's a waste of time you can't buy back. So.
Great advice, man. Great advice. Thanks for this chat. I loved it. Where can people find you?
And you guys can find me on X at the real Hakam. You can also join my newsletter. That would be awesome.
Cool,
And
man.
feel free to DM me. I'm always like answering my DMs. I'm always open if you guys have any questions. I genuinely like want to help as many people as I can, and I want to put this message out there so everyone can, have hope at least.
Cool.
So thank you.
Thanks, man.